Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome. We're back to episode 48 of BDA Chat. I'm your host, Lee Williams. Joining me in this first episode of 2019.
It's 2019.
We've got the ever resourceful Mr. Rob Jarvis.
Hello there. He's got my name right. Thank you. Good start.
That's good. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
And with joining us, he's been gone for a while, but he's back. It's Mr. David Knowles.
Hello. Where have you been?
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Just been busy.
You've been busy.
Good to get other people involved as well.
Yeah.
So, how was everybody's Christmas break? I have been away and drunk too much and eaten too much, so I need to get fit. So that's what my regime for the start of this year is to get fitter.
I think it's a lot of people's.
But how's your Christmas break? Was it good? Everyone have a good time?
It was great, thank you. Yeah, I like the way you all looked at me then. Yeah, it was great. Had a really
We want to know what you've been doing.
Yeah, I know.
What have you been doing?
How was it?
So
Yeah, it's good.
it was good,
Thank
yeah.
you. I had a really good time.
Yeah,
Didn't
it was like an
only
F1 pit stop for me.
Yeah.
It was like it kind of came and it went.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Yeah, it was.
I always
it's
love
just-
it.
It's a nice time of year, isn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause everybody is
Chilled out.
chilled out. Yeah.
Everyone's in the same boat.
Absolutely.
It's about the presents, guys. Come on. Stop being all sentimental.
Nah, see, I've kind of moved. I must have been, for me now, it's just it's the kids, man. Just chilling out with the kids, just playing Lego and
Yeah.
stuff. And Fortnite and stuff. Anyway, so with it being 2019, of which I am totally rad for 2019, I'm so looking forward to this year. Not that last year was bad, but I'm just looking forward to this
I'm
year.
revved up.
So we're so
Me too. I just said me too.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
all.
We're so revved up. It's very quiet there, David. We're so revved up that we thought we might as well do a podcast about how revved up we are in 2019. Being the first one, episode 48. And we thought we'd do some basically look at how to better yourself. So everyone wants to improve, don't they? You know, I
Yeah.
want to improve from what I did last year. I think we want to improve
There's
some
room.
of the videos that we did from last year. Not that we're saying that the ones we did last year were bad, but I always like a sense of a continuation of my skills, a continuation of improvement of what we do here throughout the marketing sort of areas of web, video, and design.
Do you know what? I'd love to do that. Literally going back to 2008 all the way to where we are now. The video progression, the website progression that we've done.
Yeah, we
I
should
think
do
it'd
a
be
little bit.
amazing,
That'd be
quick
mega,
sort of,
yeah.
Anyway,
We
that's
should do a little
a conversation for another time.
So we thought what we'd do is we just, given that we all have different specialists at BDA, we'd have a look at basically some things that we've found about that we think are good ways to better yourself in the new year. It could be like, for me, it's motion. For Rob, it's probably a bit of web and self-tanning. And David's obviously going to bring some admin and managerial skills, I think, David?
Probably.
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd
Strategic.
bring them to the table and have a quick natter. So welcome back. Happy New Year to you all. Thanks for tuning in. So who wants to go first with their first top tip to better yourself? Top tip, do you remember that? Was it top? No, that was a creative. Anyway, to better yourself. Tip top.
Tip top.
Tip top.
Cheap as chips.
So yeah.
Something different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on, Rob.
Okay.
Loving-
I set myself up there,
Yeah,
haven't I? Stop
set yourself
pointing.
up. Yeah, I just noticed I think the hairs are good this.
Is it?
this
That's
month.
after a workout as
It
well.
is, yeah.
2019.
2019. New Rob.
This isn't necessarily a top tip for how to better yourself, but for me, I think one of the biggest struggles I have, and I'm sure it's similar for a lot of people in the industry, is that personal, professional balance. Because we love what we do, you take your work home with you. You're constantly looking for new things, new inspiration, and it's often the balance gets out of bonk. So I think one of my biggest tips and things I'm looking to do. What are you laughing at?
Out of bonk.
Out of bonk?
I've never heard that before.
No,
It's out of bonk.
you've never heard out of bonk.
Out of whack, I've heard.
Out of wag, but out of bonk.
How about out of bonk?
Sorry.
Google it.
I'm awful.
Google
Carry
it.
on, sorry.
But getting that balance right, and it's, we all have, people have families, loved ones, and you want to kind of get your balance right. And I think one of the things for me is it's trying to learn. Now, you get opportunities at work to learn, but you also have to take it upon yourself. Now, how do you do that in your spare time without encroaching?
That is the tough one.
So one of the biggest tips for me is actually how you utilise dead time. And by dead time, I mean that car journey. Maybe as you're cooking dinner, something like that. How
Whilst in the car.
Yeah. No, not cooking dinner in the car.
You said cooking dinner.
Just giving
on
examples
that
of different
car journey.
scenarios. But I think one of the things I'm looking into on how I can, utilise those times better. And obviously, an obvious one that springs to mind for me is podcasts or audiobooks, things like that you can listen to in the car as you're travelling to work or you're travelling to a meeting. Because again, it's often dead time, and actually that's a really good opportunity where you can be absorbing yourself. And you said it on previous podcasts, Lee, in the car sometimes when you're away from the office is when your brain really gets going. You're not thinking about that necessarily, and it kind of triggers things. So I think for me, one of the big things is utilising that dead time, getting that balance right, and whatever I'm doing, around that is finding the fun in it, because you've got to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy what you're reading. You've got to enjoy what you're listening to.
And what do you enjoy listening to, Rob? What would you say is out there, podcast-wise, that you think is worth a listen?
Well,
would it be a personal thing? Or
this is a personal thing. I mean, for me, I listen to IGN a lot because the IGN, they cover computer games, movies, a lot. And I love that. That interests me. That's my escapism. For work.
But that's right, because you've got to get the balance.
Yeah, you have, and it inspires me because they touch on tech and things like that. So yeah, I mean, that's what I've got to find. I've got to find my choice. I want a work-related one, something that's going to inspire me around creative, that's going to inspire me around digital. I know you guys listen to a hell of a lot. Maybe I'll knock on your door and see what you can recommend. You always go on about one. I still haven't listened to it.
Jeez. The best one, well, there's loads out there, but Masters of Scale by Reid Hoffman.
That's the one.
That is genius. If you've got a chance, go out and listen to that.
What's that about?
It's just basically he interviews people that have had major effect in marketing or advertising or business.
Right.
He's had people from Google on there. He's had people, the startup guy that started LinkedIn. He's had lots of different various, and he's always the production value is really good on it. They dig deep into. You have to put up with a few adverts, which I find a little bit frustrating because you kind of want to just forward them. But yeah, that Master Scale in terms of just from a business podcast is really good. So I'd definitely recommend that one if you want to have I can send you the link again. Yeah.
Passive aggressive.
David must have. David's always listened to podcasts. He's Mr. Podcast.
And audiobooks.
Audiobooks more so than
more audiobooks.
More than podcasts.
You consume a lot, don't you?
I do listen to a lot. Yeah.
Come on then, hit us. What you're listening to at the moment?
What am I listening to at the moment? It's called Black Box.
Ooh.
It's by a chap called Matthew Syed.
I know him.
Who's on the Freddie Flintoff, Robbie Savage, and Ping Pong Guy podcast,
which is another good podcast.
Yeah, he's a very intelligent chap. Wrote a book called Bounce, which was about practice and the hypothesis that 10,000 hours worth of good practice could make you essentially world class at anything if you're prepared to put that much practice in. But this black box thinking is about mistakes and failure and learning from failure. I haven't finished it yet, but he makes a good comparison between the medical profession and the aeronautical profession, and where so much as if there is a plane incident, all the information about that incident, whether be that a crash, be that a near miss, be that whatever it might be.
I'm scared of flying, David. Go steady.
Is passed around all the different airlines and anybody involved in that industry, so that they can all learn from it. Whereas in the medical profession, that doesn't really happen. Mistakes are covered up, failures are covered up. Not all the time, but people are less willing to say, yeah, I messed up, and allow other people in the profession to learn from the mistake that they made, so it doesn't happen again. And so it's about that failure and people using cognitive dissonance, which is essentially
he's good, isn't he?
Is making
he's good.
Hang on,
it's basically if you make a statement and it isn't quite right, how you will in your own mind you'll change things so actually your statement still remains relevant and true and right.
Cognitive dissonance.
There's all sorts of so lots of science in it, but really interesting guy to read and listen to. There's other more light-hearted books. Sorry, go on.
Just it's something that kind of, I think, last year or towards the back end, we've encouraged more here at BDA is to share as much as you share success, share when things are tough, when there's been a failure, where you've hit something that you can't solve again, and sharing those areas so we can learn from it.
I think it's, we're human beings.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody doesn't make a mistake.
Completely.
But if you can all then club together to learn from the mistake that was made, so you can effectively say that's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
You're only going to be a better person, a better group of people, a better company because of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's certainly something that we've really tried to grab hold of here.
Completely.
Is not being afraid of failure as well. And I think that's something we really want to take into this year as well. Take a few chances and things.
Well, if you never fail, are you pushing yourself hard enough?
Well,
are you in your comfort zone? That's another big thing about development, isn't it?
You need to get outside.
You need to get out of that comfort zone. You know, what scares you? What do you fear? And you need to kind of push beyond that, because that's where you will really make the biggest jumps.
Sometimes you can fear just learning anything new.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's too much. Can I actually do that? I recently did that with you guys know this, but the level 1 footballing badge that I got.
Is this the course you got chucked off of, or the one you passed?
No, I passed this one.
Okay.
That was the other one. No, but I remember the first day turning up to that. It was like, ooh. But it didn't really know what to expect. You know, you kind of like, oh, can I do this? But the more, it's 4 weekends, and it went in a flash, and I came away understanding a hell of a lot more about myself, as well as what I want to try and teach kids to play football. So, it grew me much more than maybe learning something in motion. And that may sound a little bit odd, but it made me believe in myself a hell of a lot more. And it made me think, oh, do you know what? I can tackle these different problems, and I can have different ways of looking at things. And it did develop my sort of understanding of working with people, but more. So
pushy parents.
You can bring that into the team. So what you learn from outside in those environments,
bring it into this environment.
But sure, because what you do in terms of motion, you've got two sides to that. You've got the rational. I can use a piece of software. I can create something that whizzes across the screen or blows up or does whatever it does. But actually, the bit that really makes that really powerful is the emotion that goes into it. Effectively the story that goes
behind
with that makes that whizzing across the screen, that thing blowing up, something you're going to remember and therefore act upon. So, and I think that's probably where you're going with your football training thing, is that there was more to it than just a training course, a rational, I need to learn this because it's going to make me better at my job. This was, yes, it's going to allow me to coach kids how to play football, but actually what you were going to get out of that, and the children were going to get out of the effect you could have on their lives by being able to coach them.
Well, that's the whole reason I got into it.
Out of it from your life.
Was, making a difference, really. And I think, and moving that into, when it finished, I was just like, wow, I was ready for more. I was like, well, what can I do? I will do my level 2. But I was like, what else I'd love to see what else I can go out there and push myself in different areas, not outside of work, not too much outside of work, but if there's things within video, if there's there's always a new program to learn. There's always, So on top of that, just to cover off a few motion things, if you are in the motion industry and you are, wanting to get into it, there's a couple of podcasts I'll quickly cover. Motion Hatch by Hayley Atkins is definitely one to tune into every week. Marcus Magnuson, he's quite a famous animator. He set up his own Patreon channel where you can subscribe. It's only $2 or $2, whatever that converts to in English. Was that £1.50? Something like that. Maybe a bit more. Anyway, you can subscribe to that, and he basically he gets tutorials, and basically you can submit your work, you get critique, which is another thing I want to cover in just a sec. So that's a good one to go to. Obviously, there's also the School of Motion podcast, and there's the School of Motion website. That's a great place to go to learn new stuff. They've got an explainer boot camp coming up in January. Registration closes on the 7th. So if you're interested in that, it's quite expensive. It's about 259 quid. But I was looking at doing that one as well. It's really good from what I've seen. So School of Motion is a good place to go. And finally, if like you love the Millennium Falcon and would love to see that flying around your local area, do it yourself.
Not near Gatwick.
Not near Gatwick. The VFX Festival, hosted by Escape Studios in London, does their annual VFX Festival. It's hosted obviously by Escape Studios. That runs on the 7th, I think it's the 7th and the 9th. Well, it's the 7th and the 8th, one of those two. 7th and 9th, 8th and 9th. It's a Wednesday and a Thursday. February. 2019.
I was thinking this is Monday and Tuesday next week.
No, it's in February. That is well worth. Student tickets are only 15 quid. Professional tickets, well, I think they're around about 30, 45. But that is well worth going to. I think Ruth, one of our motion designers, went to that last year, and she was chatting to some guys from animators from Pixar.
That's awesome.
It's definitely worth.
Don't get to do that every day, do you?
You don't get to do that, and the number of people you'll meet and you'll learn from that place is awesome. So they're my little ones. The one thing I would cover off in terms of critiquing, and it's always good to be critiqued, and that's one of the things I want to carry into this year, is basically open myself up to more critique.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get any better, or our scripts are never going to get better if you share them, if you invite people to come on board and say, what do you think of this? I don't want to get precious about it. I just want to make this as good as I can make it. And I think as soon as you start getting precious about something, you can't make it any better.
Do you know what? That was one of my top tips I had written down, which is, as all of us, as as individuals, as professionals, is
especially in the creative industry.
It's not about taking things personally. See it as a learning experience, the feedback, the views of others. I think it's very easy because you want people to love your work or love your opinion or whatever it may be, love your idea. But you don't move forward if you take things personally, and I think it's easily done. I know I went through a stage where I would say I was quite thin-skinned in the industry, where literally the feedback would. I was a designer. I started off a designer, not a very good one, but I was a designer, and I didn't like people critiquing my work. I struggled with it. Yeah, but I think over time, and as I matured and grew up, some people might argue, I think I realised that actually it's not about having thick skin or thin skin. It's just about listening. And seeing it from another viewpoint, because it helps you move forward.
I think for me, one of the key things to remember is that it's not about me, it's about the team. It's about how we move that team and that particular problem that we're all trying to solve to a better place.
Yeah.
It comes in at one area, someone will work on it, and then we'll move it forward. It's continual movement of that idea, that solution, that video, whatever that could be, into you just keep moving it forward and sharing it with as many people as you can. Because the more you share it, the better it will become.
Completely.
And just to sort of top that off, Creativity Inc. is a book written by Ed Catmull, who used to work for Pixar, and he shares all of Pixar's insights into how they start a story, create an idea, move it through the production channels. It's a great book to read. It's really, if you can get the audiobook via Audible, even better. But yeah, that is well worth a listen to, especially even if you don't like Pixar, or even if you don't like Pixar. But anyway, that is a great place to go. Yeah. So, but yeah, open to critique and being open it's hard. But I think if you start company wide with it and you say, guys, this is what, don't be afraid of just and sharing those failures. I think that comes back into guys, I don't mind if I fail. I don't mind if this is not quite right, but this is where it is now. Where can we take this tomorrow? And I always think that's
it's huge.
So that's me over, I think, to be fair. I'm ending on Ed Catmull. That's me done. Ding.
Mic drop.
No.
Except it's on a stand.
So, anybody else got anything they want to?
I think
the new year.
I think a big thing for BDA, a big thing for my role in BDA is working with our clients to really introduce them more to experience mapping. Understanding more than just user journeys on a website, for instance, actually helping our clients to understand that it's an end-to-end journey that often starts well away from your website, but will end up with that achieving the objective on your website. So it's a multi-channel sort of activity where you look at all your channels and also offline to understand actually what goes through a user's decision process. So say you want to buy a house. The first thing you do isn't go to a website and look for houses. You might talk to family members about, I'm thinking of moving.
Talk to the wife.
Yeah, exactly. You talk to your family members, and then before you know it, you're researching areas before you're even looking for houses. So there's this whole path before you even land on a brand's social media or a brand's website. But again, then once you've got that experience map, it's about understanding how you weave in, the story that meets those objectives that relates to that user. So again, we're doing lots of it here. We use it internally a lot for ourselves, and it's just opening the eyes up, of some of our clients and working with them to do a bit more of that.
Absolutely.
Because it's a much broader view of your users.
We see that a lot in that we've had a couple of briefs come in where the client can be sometimes too focused on that particular end product. That end, I need a video or I need a website, but they don't actually think sometimes this is where we come on board and help because they don't think of that whole process. That where have I started and where do I want to end up? Yeah, it's okay if there's a website, if there's a video, there's all these different things that are along that path. But it's how do you make sure that those connection points with the customer that's going through that are on point, are speaking like messages. It's not just just get to destination C and this does not A and B is just
completely. Whatever that medium is, how do you amplify that? And what does that journey look like of people getting there to actually view that? We've been there before where we've created big videos, well back in the past, but big videos where actually we're trying to encourage you need a strategy around that, because a video on its own is just a video.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect every project or every video or website, there's always a goal, a desired goal, and you can't just expect, okay, I'll just put a website out there and it's going to solve all we problem.
Where does that sit in the experience? Where does that sit?
All of this is about transition. We start 2019 on a transition.
Yeah.
So how can we be better by the end of 2019 than we were at the end of 2018? And that's the same with marketing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You and I, we're looking to improve upon ourselves. Our clients are looking to take their customers on a transition.
Yeah, completely.
I'm here now. This is my need. This is my problem. How can our company show, or our product show that you can get to here? And so it's all about transitions. Life is about a transition, isn't it?
Getting from here to there.
From here to there, and but about being better as a result of the journey and the experiences that you've had along the way.
Completely.
I don't get too head up about the journey sometimes. I always find that back a year or two ago, I was so, I need to train more. I need to learn more. I need to do more video. I need to understand everything about cinema, everything about art effects, everything about this. And you can get yourself into a corner where you're like, I don't feel like I'm moving. I'm so worried about moving forward that I'm actually not moving forward at all. And and then the balance of trying to get your work-life balance right. Yeah. Because that's that transition. Everyone wants to improve, but sometimes you can find you get a little bit out of kilter. And
we're our own biggest obstacles in moving forward, in developing, in achieving those goals. Whether it's the fear, whether it's the pressures, or whether or not the actual taking things personally, like we just said. I think you are your own biggest obstacle, and a lot of it is kind of self-actualization and trying to get beyond that. Deep.
So, as what we'll do, I think we'll close off. Has anybody got any? Does you want to sum up one top tip? Rob's top tip for 2019? That's a bit of a statement, but
I think it's about facing your fear. Don't let the fear stop you from doing things. I know we mentioned it already, but that is it. Face that fear.
Face that fear.
Face that fear. I've got a quote on it.
Have you? Oh, he's got a quote. Oh, I love it when he's got a quote.
This is from a Jack called Jack Canfield.
Oh yeah, I know Jack.
Yeah, he's an American author, motivational speaker. Chicken Soup for Life. Yeah. For the soul. Sorry. Great book. He said everything that you want is on the other side of fear. And I just thought, it quite often is. All the really important things, the things you want to achieve, there's always an element, a barrier of fear.
Lovely.
So go beyond it.
Go beyond the fear. David, anything you
I think mine's just being present. When I say being present, I mean, yes, live in the now. But when you are with other people, don't spend your whole time looking at your phone, typing on your keyboard.
So easy.
And not really paying attention to what it is they are talking to you about, or what it is you really are in the room to do. Be present, be there, be part of the conversation, so you can actually take part in it, as opposed to be on the periphery of it and not actually have any input. Make it count.
I've started doing that, to be fair. Not that I'm not present. I think I'm mostly present. But what was I doing the other day? That was it. I was about to go down and do something with the kids, and I got my phone out, and I thought, no, I don't need to get my phone out now. I don't know why I did it. It's a habit. And I got it. I thought, no, I'm not going to turn the phone over. I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I've had my iPhone time. I think you should set aside social media iPhone time. However long you think you need. 10 minutes of a day, half hour of a day, and that is it. And that's otherwise you get so many distractions going on. And it was that's nice. Be present. That's nice. My one would be just be open. I think open to critique. Let your ideas let your idea grow. Stick it in a pot, water it, let it grow. Let other people water it. Let other people look after it. And you never know where it'll end up. And 9 times out of 10, it'll probably end up somewhere where you didn't expect, but it will be better than what you originally thought.
Poetic.
Well, I don't know if it's poetic, but anyway.
Confucius.
So I think we're going to wrap on that one. I think. Anybody got anything to add for 2019? Any hopes? Any individual goals? What would you like to achieve in 2019?
You've pushed me into it. Lee's pushed me into it. He's got me exercising. He told me on the works do that exercise is good for the mind. It releases endorphins. It makes you happy, and if you're happy, it clears your head and it helps you at work. So he's this guy here. He's pushed me. He's got me exercising. Today was day 1, and I'm shattered.
Yeah, but you look better for it.
Thank
Already,
you.
you look better for
I
it.
feel better for it.
Yeah, see?
Might be aching.
That's
I can
cool.
feel the endorphins.
That's good.
They're running riot.
Running around the place. You can
Yeah.
see him all over the place. It's going crazy. David, what
Spilling
would you like to
out.
achieve this year? Anything you want?
It's quite broad, but just to make a difference.
Yeah.
We touched on it just earlier
Just
on,
making
but
a
just to make a difference.
Yeah.
In anything that I'm involved in.
Nice. In anything that you're involved with, make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a nice motto, isn't it?
Make a difference, yeah. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't think I can say. I don't know what I want to achieve this year, to be fair. I think
Still an open book.
I think happy. This year I just want to go 100% happy.
Yeah.
Good for you.
100% happy. Whatever this year will be. I'm excited about it, but whatever it will be, I just want to be happy with it.
The knock-on effect of happiness is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It affects your work life and everything. If you're happy,
Happy in what
you're
you
better all round.
You don't want to be a mood hoover.
Mood
No,
hoover.
nope.
No mood hoovers. Right, yeah, so on that note of not mood hoovering, we'll hoover on out. Please get in touch with us. It's lovely to hear from our viewers. Please, you can reach out to us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Is that right?
You've nailed it.
No, all in one. You think I've been doing this before?
MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
I did see something about MySpace today, but we'll go into that in a minute. So, until episode 49, this is Rob, Lee, and David signing out. We'll see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
That was quite speedy. That was 20 minutes. I know it says 29, but
9 minutes of 5 minutes.
That's all right.
5 minutes of interlude. 25 minutes.
yeah, 25 minutes, not bad. Good length.
Speedy one. We can't have them all epic. Yeah, plus
No,
we'll
that's what I mean. It's
we'll probably
good.
run out
It's
of
good.
points, you know. I mean, we're not experts in it, are we?
No.
Oh, blues
Oh.
and twos. Blues and twos.
Hang on.
David, run.
Right.
Don't you love the way the light catches the window like that?
Yeah.
I love that.
What to press stop?
Yeah, press stop. And then I was like, you watching Luther?
No.
Do you know what I realised?
Did you watch Luther last night?
Caught all that in on the edge of shot.
What is all that?